When I think about who I am today and what I'm doing, I really do have to thank my parents. They had two values in particular that I remember as really influencing me in my early years and still today. One of them is a love for words, a love for language. I remember very early on our entire family playing Scrabble together. And my mom had a habit of, when we're done with the game, of saying to each of us kids, my brother and sister and I, to make a story out of all the words on the board. And then we had to tell the stories to each other. And sometimes they got pretty crazy, but they were always very creative. And that really was the genesis of my love of storytelling. The other value my parents really stressed was social justice. One in particular that was important to them was the racial divide. So, for instance, when the first black family moved into the neighborhood, my mom made sure that my sister and I were the very first visitors they had, delivering a gift of cookies from her. And it really developed a very strong friendship between the two families. But she also, for instance, would take me to all black churches downtown in Chicago, because she wanted me to know what it felt like to be the only white face, to be the other, basically. And that stuck with me throughout my life and has sort of been my compass. I came of age when Woodward Bernstein was exposing the Watergate scandal. And I really saw that as a noble profession to help expose the truth, help people see the underside and the other side of a story that they weren't seeing. That's why I went into journalism. I'm proud of the progression I've had in my career. I started off very local. I was a journalist at a daily newspaper, worked for a teaching hospital, but I went from very local to national, worked for the American Society of Plastic Surgeons at a very exciting time, worked with a lot of media. Loved that, so then went from there to global and progressed from a lowly reporter to all the way up to vice president at Johnson & Johnson. So I'm proud of that progression. But I think I'm prouder still of those moments when I can point to that my communications actually made a difference. I have started my own consultancy, so I can pick and choose the clients I work with. And I chose the name Istikame because it's the Arabic word, one of the Arabic words for integrity. I chose Arabic because it symbolizes my desire and commitment to working with under-resourced populations and under-resourced regions. And integrity because it really, in communications, it's very, very easy to get to the point where you just do what the client asks you to do because they're paying you. And I have a very strong sense of integrity, which means you do what's right for the end customer, the end population you're trying to influence. And it doesn't really matter how much money is being offered. I will keep that sense of integrity. And that's, I think, is a strength that I offer to any client I work with. What makes me uniquely suited for what I do is a combination of passion for causes and the breadth of experience, and the fact that I've gotten that breadth of experience through some pretty significant positions in the corporate world, but I've been willing to, and I want to actually give that up to go after the passion. So when I pick a client, I do that as much as they pick me. They know that it's because they're going to get me 100%. They're going to get all of my passion, as well as all that deep experience.